2003. This videotaped interview is being done by the Ashby Historical Society, which is participating in the United States Veterans History Project. It's a project in which our veterans have been asked to share their stories while in the armed services. The tapes will be held here in Ashby and will be listed and cataloged at the Library of Congress. And with us this morning is Faith Aho. I'm sorry. Faith, Hope, and Charity. Do forgive me. Shall we start over or shall we roll? It's Hope Aho. I do apologize. Who will be interviewed by me, Ann Hayes. And you have lived in Ashby for?
Since 61.
1961. Okay. And you were born?
In Rhode Island.
In Rhode Island. Where in Rhode Island?
In Pawtucket.
In Pawtucket, Rhode Island.
Born and raised there.
All right. Now, were you drafted when you...
No, I signed up.
You enlisted, and you enlisted as a result of...
My husband being killed in service, and I felt so alone. I always wanted to join anyway, so first time I tried to join, quota was full. So then when I tried again, I got in.
And did you choose the Marines as your service branch?
I certainly did.
And did you choose that as a result of your husband's service relationship, or what service?
He was in the Navy.
He was in the Navy.
He was a pilot. He was a Navy pilot.
He was a pilot. And where was he killed?
At Pensacola.
In Pensacola. So he was in a training?
In the training gun base, yes.
Oh, I'm so sorry. So at the time that you enlisted, you were living?
In Pawtucket, Rhode Island.
In Pawtucket. Okay, so you had married him and
lost him.
And lost him, and then you moved back home?
Then I was back home when he was killed because he had gone to an advanced base.
Oh, I see.
He couldn't take a wife, so I came home.
So you stayed behind to wait on him to do his training, and then he was killed.
Yes.
And so you joined out of a sense of, what was the feeling in the country at the time? Was it a great deal of a sense of patriotism and?
Oh yes, I think so. Yeah. And I always thought the Marines were great, so I thought I'd like to be in those.
Who came and spoke with you? Was there a woman recruiter at the time?
No, I just went down and signed up.
And where was the recruiting office?
Oh, that's been a long time.
Did you go to Fitchburg? Did you go?
No, I was Rhode Island.
Oh, I'm sorry, I beg your pardon.
Out of Rhode Island, yes.
You'll have to forgive me. I don't
know if I'm
going to be the best interviewer here.
That's all right. That's all right.
So out of Rhode Island. Interesting. And were they surprised was it sort of a thing that a lot of women were
signing up?
Oh
yes, oh
really?
yes.
It's interesting. Yeah, and did you have any idea were a lot of them single women, or were they?
Oh, now that I don't know who was married, but there were a lot of single women.
A lot of single women were enlisting. Now, tell me about your first days in the service. And was it a shock to you what you initially got in and experienced, or was it pretty much what you
enjoyed it? I enjoyed it. It was a learning experience.
So tell me, where did you go originally for your first? Where did you report?
Camp Lejeune,
in North Carolina. And tell me about the way Camp Lejeune was laid out. Were you?
Oh boy, can't do it. It's been too long.
Well, do you remember your barracks situation? Do you remember how you were billeted? And,
I know we had good meals. They were delicious. I remember that. We had wonderful meals.
Really? Good 3 squares a day?
Yes.
And did you train very hard? Did they?
Not like a man, no.
Was it physically rigorous at all?
A little bit, not too bad. It wasn't too bad.
What did they have you do? What types of things? Did you march? Did you
we marched.
Do calisthenics?
Yes.
Did all of those things? Did you have a regular PT uniform that you used, like for working out, or did you train in your military
uniform?
Train in your uniform. And at the time that you wore a uniform, did you wear a regular men's type uniform with pants, or did they put you in a skirt, or what was your uniform like?
Oh boy.
Can you remember?
I gave it away to my nieces to play with after I got out. And God knows how long gone. I guess we had a skirt. I guess I don't remember, to tell you the truth.
Well,
I'm a great slack person anyway, so if there were slacks, I was right at home.
There you go. And how do you remember your instructors? Were they men? Were they women? Were they both?
Men.
There were men instructors. And so the specific area that you actually got involved with was, what was the nature of the work that you did?
I worked in the airplane hangar giving out parts for the repair of the planes. I was an aviation supply clerk.
Ah, parts supply.
Mhm.
Interesting. And where did the munitions that you, or the parts that you would be dispensing, where did they come from? Where were they manufactured? Do you have any idea?
I have no idea. All I know is I just worked in the hangar there.
And do you remember the types of aircraft that they were building?
My little booklet right there.
Is it? Okay.
So I got the very back page.
So she's brought us a wonderful book called The Marine Corps Air Station at Cherry Point, North Carolina. And Tim, I'll hold up this picture just to see. I'm not sure if you can focus in on it or not, but we'll also keep this as a part of our record. Isn't she a beautiful woman?
Hold it up just a little bit, yeah.
How's that? Yes, I'm beautiful.
Great.
All right. Good. So you served in the Second World War,
Yes.
and the period you actually served for how long?
Yes, I signed up for the duration of the war.
Oh, and so it was
ended in
winding.
a year, so it was just a year.
So this would have been in 1944?
I know I graduated in class of 41, so for high school. So it was after that. Way after that.
Okay, so probably.
Maybe 45.
Okay. And you stayed at Cherry Point?
I did.
For the duration of the war? And how did you get there? Did you travel with other enlistees?
No, when I just got my orders and I went along and
Got your orders and you took a
train.
train down? And so I would assume that.
And I met a girl on the train and we became great friends.
Oh, really?
Yes, yes.
Were you billeted together so that you stayed in
We
the
palled together, yes, quite a bit.
Stayed together. Yeah, good. And now, your unit, by the nature of, do you remember the name of your unit, by the way? That's okay.
The booklet.
Okay, all right, well, that's good.
I really don't remember.
Don't worry about it.
No, it just says the 9th Marine Aircraft Wing.
9th Marine Aircraft
9th
Wing.
Marine Aircraft Wing.
All right. And because you were a stateside unit, you probably were not familiar with, what am I trying to say? There were not any combat.
Oh, no combat, no.
Nothing of that nature
No.
that happened with your unit. You were a support,
Just to the
a very necessary support, as a matter of fact. And let's see, were you awarded medals or citations for your work?
I wasn't awarded anything, no. I wasn't.
Okay. And what was your rank at the time?
Corporal.
You were a corporal? Okay. In a year? That's
That's good.
pretty good. I was going to say, that's that's pretty good.
They offered me another rating if I'd sign over, but I didn't. I was ready. I met my husband, well, to be, and planned on getting married, so I came out.
Tell me about meeting your husband now. What was he doing at the time?
He was a Marine also,
He was a Marine.
and he was come on the base. He was visiting somebody, and I happened to meet him. We had a big airplane hangar, and Saturday nights they threw dances. And the fellows were 3 deep waiting to dance with you, so you could get married every day of the week if you wanted to. It was
So this was, your husband's name was?
Neil.
Neil Ahern. And he was
He was a corporal also.
corporal. And was he raised here and
Hubbardston, he was born Hubbardston.
in Hubbardston? And then when you all married, did you come back to Ashby or did you go?
No, we moved to Worcester, and then we gradually came up to Ashby where we had the 2 boys. We thought it'd be a good place to raise the children.
Okay. And they grew up here?
Yes,
And,
yeah.
and are your sons still here?
One is still here, the other's out in Oklahoma.
And Neil has since died
Yes. 47, he dropped dead on me.
in
So
1947?
he was 47.
Oh, he was 47. I was going to say, whoa.
He was 47.
Sure.
He dropped dead on me.
I'm sorry. So you never remarried?
You know,
Live here in Ashby? Okay. Do you remember when you were involved with the service, how you stayed in touch with your family? Were you able to make phone calls?
I just mostly wrote letters and
Letters.
stuff, yes.
And were both of your parents alive at the time? Did you
Oh, yes,
communicate with
yes,
them?
they were, yes.
And I bet they were proud as punch.
Yes, I think so.
Their daughter
Yeah,
is a Marine.
yeah.
Now, you said the food was good. Do you remember what time you'd get up? And was that a shot? What time did you rise in the morning?
Oh, I don't remember what time we arrived.
Oh, dark 30 is what we used to say.
I have no idea. I have no idea.
I just remember that the hours were very, very early when my husband was involved with the service.
I know you had to have your bed made up so a dime could put a dime on it.
And they were very strict about that.
Oh, yes, oh, yes, oh, yes. You gotta have that. Your bunk all made up nice and neat.
And do you remember about lights out? What time were lights out?
No, I don't remember that either. No.
But was that a part of the regimen that they, got you up early and, basically turned lights out at a certain time?
Yeah,
so that you
at a certain time.
got plenty
yeah.
of sleep?
You could go off the base during the week if you weren't on duty in regular clothes, but you had to be in uniform by 4 in the evening. So you had to make sure you were back in uniform if you went off the base to do anything. Because they had a sailboat, a nice little lake there, we used to sail across sometimes. But you had to come back by 4 and get in uniform.
And now, the nature of the war at that time, do you remember your feelings? Were you stressful about whether or not we would prevail in the war? Do you remember your feelings?
I was young, never entered my mind that we would prevail.
There you go.
America's a strong country. I think we'll prevail for anything.
So you had absolute confidence that everything was going
Oh,
well?
absolutely.
If there was any type of stress on you at the time, what would it have been the nature of, besides those 3 men deep that were trying to marry you?
Oh, everybody, not me, just anybody. It was a great time. We had a lot of fun. Met a lot of nice young men too. They loved to dance with you, but they had girls back home naturally. I knew that. But as I say, I had met my husband Tupi, and we went out mostly together all the time. He'd come every weekend to visit on the base. He did stay over. I didn't know he was going to stay over. I thought I just met him that evening, but I guess he was staying over.
So the clubs that you would go where the dancing and all took place were right there on Cherry Point, or were they at
Right on Cherry
on
Point,
the
right on
coast?
one of the big airplane hangars.
Do you ever remember any of the bands that came?
Oh, good Lord, no. Good Lord, no.
So what kind of music did you dance to? Was it records? Was it?
No, they had band.
They did have bands?
Yes, yes.
I wonder if they had a standing band that would come and play.
I don't know, they had different ones. It's been a long time. It's been a long time. You forget quite a bit of things.
So you had the dances, and then how did you entertain, what else was around that area that you all would do for entertainment, and how much time did you actually have available when you were not on duty? Do you remember that there was a great deal of sort of downtime, or were you pretty much busy every day?
Pretty much busy. Kept us out of mischief.
Right.
We had a bowling alley too, we could bowl. We had a little place we could go have coffee and visit.
Do you remember any particularly humorous events that you'd like to share with us about things that went on when you were actively involved with the Marines?
Humorous event. Well, there was an event, but I don't think that was humorous.
Well, what was it? Tell us about it anyway.
My girlfriend and I met these 2 Marines, and they had a boat. We were sailing across to the little
In that river? Or the
river, and there was a little restaurant there. We had one highball, I think we visited. Then the fellow that I was with, he said, let's walk down the beach. So I said, well, it was nice. I said, fine. Next thing I know, he knocked me right down. He tried to rape me.
Oh.
He knocked me down. There was sand everywhere. I didn't care where it was as long as he didn't get at me.
Oh, my goodness.
But I was scared to death. I never told my son to just sleep about that.
Did you report him?
No, I never did. I never thought to report him. Because we had to come back and get a uniform. We weren't in uniform, but I just let it go. As long as everything ended all right. But what a surprise that was.
Did you call cocky?
I did, but I protected myself
You protected
anyway.
yourself.
And luckily, everything ended well.
Oh, my goodness. That's
But
not...
that was scary because you're just talking like you and I, and all of a sudden, wham, he knocked me down.
Well,
That was the only scary thing that ever really happened to me, I think.
now, do you remember that in the barracks that there was pranks and things that you girls would pull on each other, or
Not too
were you
much.
pretty much
Pretty much.
serious about your
Yes,
work?
oh yes, we gotta have everything done right, lockers, everything all nice and neat, yeah.
Was there a troublemaker in your barracks?
No, there wasn't. We were very fortunate.
Good.
Very fortunate.
Yeah, so often there's that character that always. So you did bring me a photograph of you, and
I
this is
did,
beautiful,
yes.
and we will certainly cherish it if you will let us make a copy of that.
You gonna do that today now, or?
Actually, I'll take it home and put it in the computer, and then I'll mail it back to
Oh,
you.
you'll mail it back to me?
Or I will deliver it to you by hand, whichever. Now, your fellow soldiers, you said, were pretty serious, and did you have any officers in particular that gave you any trouble, or were you?
No, we had no
You girls
problems.
were pretty,
Yeah, no problems at
pretty
all.
squared away. What was your memory of the overall war? Do you remember anything in particular that impressed you? Not necessarily that was going on right at your post, but out with the war. Anything that had an impact that stays with you in your memory?
No, not really.
So-
Interesting, ain't I?
No, you certainly are. You often wonder, because we often get we get so absorbed in what we're doing that sometimes, what's going on around us eludes us completely. Did you keep any kind of a diary?
No, I didn't.
Personal
No, I
diary?
didn't.
Do you
No, I
wish now
didn't.
that you had?
No, it's gone by now, and it's passed in my life,
How do you think it's affected your opinion about war in general, that the other wars that we've become involved in?
Well, I don't believe it. I don't like wars. I feel bad for the lives that are lost, young lives that are lost. But we have to do what we have to do.
Yeah, sometimes.
For our country, we have to do it. If I was young, I'd be back in. If I was young, I'd be back in. I enjoyed it.
So you actually mustered out of the service before the war actually ended, and you said you signed up for a year.
The war ended, and that's why they let me out.
So it did end, and
Yes.
then you were released. Okay.
Yes.
So you didn't actually sign up for a period of time. You signed up for the duration of the war?
Right.
Okay. Let's see. So in the days and the weeks immediately following the war, you had a new husband? Where did you marry him? Did you married him down there, or did you?
No, we married up here. It's been a long time. I think it was in Worcester.
In Worcester, and we're married there?
In Worcester, yes.
Okay. And because that was where he was from originally?
Yeah, from Hubbardston, Worcester area,
Okay,
yes.
Hubbardston.
Hubbardston, Holden area.
Okay. And then did you have, when you finished with the war, did you have any kind of a GI Bill or any type of
No, nothing, no.
opportunity that you took advantage of?
No, I didn't. No, I didn't. No.
Okay. And did you make close friendships that have remained?
No, they're all now, mostly all my friends have died off. It's awful when you live so long. Live to be 80 years old, That's a long.
I'd love to be
long.
80 and be as lovely as you. I certainly
Thank you.
would. So did you join a veterans organization, or were you?
I belong to Legion Ashby. I'm a paid-up member for life. I don't go to the meetings, but I am a member.
But you are a member. You are a member. And so did you go into a career after the war, or did you
No, I
stay
didn't.
home?
I stayed
or
home and raised my two sons.
raised your children?
My husband worked for Firestone Tire Company at the time, and that was all we needed. He liked to be home with the boys.
Were there any types of reunions that you attend now
No,
from
I'm
your?
not a reunion person, no. No, I'm not a reunion person, no.
Okay. And is there anything else that you can think of that made an impression on you about your time that you spent in the Marines that you'd like to share with us?
Made an impression on me. No, it was actually just like going to camp. Really, actually it was. I figured it was like that anyway. I enjoyed it.
We're proud of your service,
Yes, I am. Yes, I am. I'm proud to be in it.
and we certainly appreciate your service.
Thank you.
Is there any other question that my friends would like to pose?
What was your, what were the Marines called? What was their title?
Oh, you would ask me that. They called us BAMs.
Oh, but I meant the official one.
They called us BAMs. We didn't like that. I won't tell you what it means.
I know what it means.
Oh, okay.
But wasn't there, didn't you have a special, wouldn't it be?
There was Women's Army Corps was the WACs.
Yeah.
The Waves were the Navy.
Women's,
And the WAF was the Air Force, and so,
was it the women's Marines or how?
They just called us Marines, or they called us BM, that's all I know.
I thought there was an official name. Sorry about that.
That's all right.
Tim, did you have anything
No.
you'd like to know?
Great interview.
Anything else you'd like to
I
share?
guess not, thank you.
Well,
I think that,
well, we certainly thank you very
Nice
much
talking to you.
for coming to join us this morning, and thank you again for your service.
Thank
And I think
you.
Ashby is very privileged to have had a woman
I
Marine
think
in
so,
World
too.
War II.
I think so too.